Sometimes I sit here and I wonder if I went too far. If the universe just wanted me to let it go, but then I remember the look on his face, and hers. And frankly, I don't regret a single thing. Was I wrong for what I did? He cheated on me with my best friend, and I absolutely ruined their wedding. Tell me, honestly, would you have done the same? Because for me, there was no other option. I had to for my own sanity, for every ounce of self-respect I had left. It all started, as most heartbreaks do, with a love story that felt like a fairy tale. I met Mark in our senior year of college. He was charming, witty, and had this incredible way of making me feel like I was the only person in the room when he spoke to me. We fell hard, fast, and completely. Our friends all said we were inseparable, the kind of couple everyone envied. We talked about our future constantly. A little house with a garden, maybe 2 kids, a dog. It was all so vivid in my mind. A life meticulously planned out with the man I genuinely believed was my soulmate. And then there was Sarah. Sarah had been my best friend since kindergarten. We shared everything, secrets, dreams, even clothes. She was the sister I never had, the person I called before anyone else with good news or bad. When I started dating Mark, Sarah was thrilled for me. She was always supportive, always telling me how perfect we were together. Mark and Sarah got along famously too. They'd joke around, tease each other good-naturedly, and I never saw it as anything but 2 of my favorite people getting along. In fact, I cherished that my boyfriend and my best friend could be friends. It made my world feel complete. After graduation, Mark and I moved into a small apartment together, ready to start our adult lives. Those first few years were magical. We built a routine. We supported each other through career changes and family dramas, and our love deepened with every shared experience. I truly believed we were building something unbreakable. The proposal came on our 5th anniversary. He took me back to the park where we had our first date, got down on one knee, and with tears in his eyes asked me to marry him. I said yes, of course, without a moment's hesitation. It was everything I had ever dreamed of. The wedding planning started almost immediately. Sarah was my maid of honor, naturally. She was excited, helping me pick out dresses, venues, and even taste-testing cakes with an enthusiasm that matched my own. We spent countless hours poring over Pinterest boards, laughing about seating charts and dreaming about my big day. I trusted her implicitly with everything, including my fiancé. That was my first mistake, my biggest, most naive mistake. Things started to feel off slowly, subtly. Mark became a little more distant, a little less engaged. He'd say he was working late more often or had to go to the gym or meet up with clients. I chalked it up to pre-wedding stress, maybe cold feet. But a small, persistent voice in the back of my mind whispered that something wasn't right. He stopped holding my hand as much, our nightly talks dwindled, and the spark in his eyes when he looked at me seemed to dim. I tried to talk to him, to ask if everything was okay, if he was having second thoughts. He'd always brush it off, reassuring me that he loved me, that he was just stressed, and that everything was fine. I wanted to believe him. I needed to believe him. Sarah, on the other hand, was acting strangely too. She'd be overly solicitous, almost trying too hard to seem normal. She'd avoid eye contact sometimes or change the subject abruptly if Mark's name came up in a certain context. I noticed she started dressing a little differently, a bit more provocatively even when we were just hanging out. And she was always asking about Mark, about his schedule, about his mood. I should have seen it then. The signs were there, painted in bold letters right in front of me. But I was blinded by love and loyalty. I was so focused on planning the perfect wedding that I missed the insidious decay happening right under my nose. The gut feeling grew stronger, a knot of dread tightening in my stomach. One evening, Mark said he was going out for drinks with some colleagues. He seemed agitated, more so than usual. He kissed me quickly, almost as an afterthought, and left. I tried to shake off the unease, but I couldn't. I decided to call Sarah just to chat, maybe get some girl talk in. But her phone went straight to voicemail. I tried again a few minutes later, same thing. A chill ran down my spine. It was a Friday night, and Sarah never missed a call from me, especially not if she was just at home. A terrible thought, illogical and impossible, began to form. I pushed it away, tried to rationalize it, but it clung to me like a shadow. I couldn't sleep. I paced the apartment. Finally, around midnight, I received a text from Mark. Just got home, tired, going to bed. Love you. A pang of relief, quickly followed by another wave of suspicion. Why didn't he call? Why a text after all that time? The next morning, I woke up with a renewed sense of purpose. I had to know. I had to prove myself wrong to silence that terrible whisper. I logged into our shared phone plan account, something we had set up for convenience, never expecting to use it for this. I looked at Mark's call logs, his texts. My heart started pounding as I scrolled. There were frequent calls and texts to an unknown number, late at night, early in the morning. I copied the number and called it from my own phone. It rang once, twice, and then a familiar voice answered. Sarah's voice. My world shattered. It wasn't just a whisper anymore. It was a scream. The blood drained from my face and I felt a dizzying wave of nausea. My best friend, my fiancé. It couldn't be. My hands trembled as I scrolled further back, weeks, months. The communication between them was undeniable, increasing in frequency and intimacy as our wedding date approached. Text messages like, "Can't wait to see you tonight, thinking about you. Wish I could be with you right now." My head swam. I felt like I was drowning in betrayal. I confronted Mark that night. He denied it at first, of course, tried to lie his way out of it. But when I showed him the evidence, the call logs, the texts, he broke. He confessed, not just to a one-time mistake, but to an ongoing affair that had been happening for months with Sarah. He looked at me, begging for forgiveness, for understanding, for a chance to make it right. But all I could see was the disgusting truth, the vile deception that had permeated my entire life. I kicked him out that night. I packed a bag for him, threw it at him, and told him to never ever come near me again. The next few days were a blur of tears, anger, and unimaginable pain. I cut Sarah out of my life too. I sent her a scathing message detailing everything I knew, every betrayal, every lie. She tried to call to apologize, to explain, but I ignored her. There was nothing to explain. There was no apology that could fix this. The wedding was called off, of course. My parents were devastated, my friends were shocked. I had to explain it to everyone, relive the humiliation over and over again. It felt like my life had been ripped apart piece by piece and I was left standing in the rubble, completely alone. I grieved for the loss of my future, for the loss of my best friend, and for the man I thought I knew. I spent weeks in a fog, barely eating, barely sleeping. The pain was an almost physical entity, a constant pressure in my chest. Then slowly a different emotion started to take hold. Not sadness, not even anger, but a cold, calculated rage. They had taken everything from me. My love, my trust, my future. They deserved to feel a fraction of the pain they had inflicted upon me. The idea started as a tiny spark, a fleeting thought, but it grew, feeding on my hurt and resentment until it became an undeniable force. I decided then and there that I wouldn't just move on. I would make them pay. I would make them remember what they did. So that's the situation I was in, and I had to make a choice. I could have just walked away, tried to heal in silence, let them have their happy ending. But something inside me snapped. I couldn't let them get away with it. Before I tell you what happened next, what elaborate scheme I concocted, I want you to pause right now and comment below what you would have done in my shoes. Would you have let it go? Or would you have sought your own form of justice? Tell me honestly, what's your gut reaction? A few months passed. I heard through the grapevine from mutual acquaintances that Mark and Sarah were together. Not just together, but openly together. They were living in the apartment Mark and I had shared, building their life in the ruins of mine. And then the news hit me like a ton of bricks. They were engaged. Engaged. The audacity, the absolute gall of them to move on so quickly, to flaunt their stolen happiness in front of everyone. It was a slap in the face. But this time the news didn't send me into a spiral of despair. Instead, it fueled the fire that had been simmering inside me. This was my chance. This was the opportunity I had been waiting for. I started planning. I needed details, the date, the venue, the guest list. It wasn't hard to get the information. Sarah, still trying to maintain some semblance of a connection, had left me on a few group chats related to the original wedding planning. I quietly observed, pretending to be offline, collecting every snippet of information I could. They were getting married at the same beautiful lakeside venue Mark and I had chosen, a place filled with so many memories that now felt tainted. The date was set for a crisp autumn afternoon, just like mine was supposed to be. I needed an inside man, or rather an inside woman, and I found her in Emily, another one of my good friends who was also close to Sarah and was still incredibly angry about what Sarah had done to me. Emily, disgusted by Sarah's betrayal, agreed to help me. She would attend the wedding, ostensibly as a guest, and act as my eyes and ears. My plan was simple, yet devastatingly effective. I wouldn't cause a scene during the ceremony itself. I wanted maximum impact, maximum humiliation. I targeted the reception, specifically the moment they would share their first dance as husband and wife. I needed a projection screen, something I knew the venue used for slideshows, and I needed a way to get my hands on the projection system. Emily confirmed that the wedding planner, a lovely but slightly overwhelmed woman named Jessica, was handling all the AV equipment. Jessica, it turned out, was easily distracted. My plan was set. The day of the wedding arrived. I was a bundle of nerves, but also a surge of exhilarating anticipation. I wasn't attending, of course. I was waiting, hidden in plain sight. I had booked a room at the hotel adjacent to the venue, a room with a clear view of the reception hall's entrance. Emily kept me updated via text messages throughout the day. Ceremony started. She looks happy. He just teared up during his vows, can you believe it? Each text fueled my resolve. As the reception began, Emily confirmed the setup. A large projection screen was indeed ready for a couple's slideshow as planned by Mark and Sarah. This was it. While Emily distracted Jessica with a minor crisis about the seating arrangements, I slipped into the reception hall's control booth, a small, unassuming room at the back. It was surprisingly easy to get in. Everyone was busy enjoying the open bar and appetizers. I had a USB drive in my hand, filled with meticulously curated content. It wasn't photoshopped pictures or fabricated messages. Oh no, it was far more damning. It was every single incriminating text message, every late-night call log screenshot, every flirtatious email exchange between Mark and Sarah that I had painstakingly retrieved from my old phone and our shared computer. I had organized them chronologically, creating a damning timeline of their betrayal, complete with dates and times. At the end, I even included a few voicemails Sarah had left Mark, expressing her love and how much she couldn't wait to be with him. These weren't just words on a screen. They were audio recordings of her voice whispering sweet nothings to my fiancé. It took only a few moments to swap out their innocent slideshow USB for mine. I set the loop to play immediately after the first dance, a subtle, almost imperceptible delay. Then I vanished, just as quickly and silently as I had arrived. I watched from my hotel room window, a glass of champagne in hand, a strange mix of vindication and sorrow washing over me. Emily's texts started coming in rapid fire. They're starting their first dance. He's twirling her. Okay, it's done. They're smiling. People are clapping. And then the next text. OMG, it's playing. Your slideshow is playing. People are confused. A few seconds later. No, they're not confused. They're gasping. Sarah just saw it. Her face is white. Then, Mark just saw it. He's trying to get someone's attention, but no one's listening. It's too loud. The texts are huge on the screen. And the best one. Someone just yelled, "What the hell is that?" Sarah is crying. Mark is yelling at the DJ. I smiled. A genuine, unadulterated smile. The first one I'd felt in months. The whole reception hall, filled with their friends, their family, their colleagues, was watching their sordid affair unfold in excruciating detail. The intimate whispers, the secret rendezvous, the promises of love, all projected larger than life. The music had stopped, replaced by a stunned silence, occasionally broken by gasps and whispers. Mark was frantically trying to get the DJ to turn it off, but by then, it was too late. The voicemail started playing, Sarah's unmistakable voice, echoing through the speakers, confessing her love to Mark while he was still engaged to me. The illusion of their pure love, their beautiful wedding, shattered into a million pieces. The humiliation was complete. I heard later that the wedding descended into chaos. Sarah's parents were mortified. Mark's family was furious. Guests started leaving, whispering, pointing. Sarah ran out of the venue in tears, her beautiful wedding dress trailing behind her like a symbol of her ruined day. Mark followed, screaming her name. Their perfect wedding, the one they built on lies and betrayal, was irrevocably destroyed. Their reputation was in tatters, their new marriage tainted before it even truly began. I felt a hollow satisfaction. It didn't bring back my old life, my old trust, or my old self. But it gave me closure. It showed them, and everyone else, that actions have consequences. So here I am, months later. Mark and Sarah are still together as far as I know, but their lives are certainly not the fairy tale they envisioned. They faced a lot of judgment, lost friends, and their careers even took a hit from the public fallout. As for me, I'm slowly, painstakingly rebuilding my life. I've learned a lot about trust, about betrayal, and about my own resilience. I don't recommend revenge as a path to happiness, but sometimes a little justice can be incredibly therapeutic. I finally feel like I can move forward, free from the shadow of their betrayal. If you are on my side in this whole mess, please like this video. Subscribe for more stories like this, where I share the raw, unfiltered truth of human experiences. And please, share your final thoughts on this whole saga in the comments section below. What would you have done? Was I right to ruin their wedding, or should I have just let it go? I'll see you all in the next story.